Shout out to all the people who support the channel. If you want to become a member of our channel, link in the description. Obvious, there's no obligation, but you get access to the reactions early. Let's go. Star-Spangled Banner, as you've never heard it.
This is Scott Key. He penned a song. There was a lawyer once. His name was Francis Scott Key. He penned a song that I'm sure you're aware of. You've seen it. It's in most hymnals throughout our churches. It's called the national anthem. It is our song as an American. We go, however, to a ball game. We stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips, and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict with the mother country, Britain. Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners. They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis. Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men. And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free. He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth. He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet. He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort. It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war is over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort. He said, don't worry about it. They said, we've left them a way out. And he said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately. And we'll know that they've surrendered. And you'll now be under British rule. Francis Scott Key went down below and told...
Bruh. I don't think I've heard this story specifically. This is interesting. We all know how it ends up for you Brits. Yeah, we all know how it ended up for y'all. So that's why I'm smiling. Because Americans were lit. The forefathers, as they call it, were freaking bananas. Legit gangsters. Whether you like it or not, there's always got to be a winner or loser. Always. Even when we go back to like indigenous people, when certain resources run out, they're like, yo, I got to get the land by the lake, man. We need water. What do they got to do? Combat the other tribes. That's just what it is. There's always winners and losers. You know, tribalism is a real thing. You know, from what I've seen, you know, sometimes it's rare to even see like indigenous people share resources, right? Like a different tribe share. There's just, I don't know what about the human experience. That's probably the part I don't like, that we can't just figure some things out. But what I will say is the founders of America were legit gangsters. They had what do they call that? Dragon's blood? Bruh. Eagle's blood? Like, think about this. Just think about Britain, the power at the time. What type of power they had. And just some gangsters who were like, we want freedom of religion. We don't want to pay your crummy taxes. And we want to rock in this new land. And you ain't going to stop us. You can get these hands. What? Not only did they say you can get these hands, they gave them these hands. Fast forward to 2024, you got a light-skinned brother mixed with all different type of mud effing bloodlines, loving America, talking about it. Bruh, the history of America is so lit. It's too bad we're on the downswing right now. This might be the fall of Rome. Shit, I might be in the middle of the fall of Rome. But damn, just this story, this build-up so far. Got your boy hyphy, super duper hyphy. Happy 4th of July, mother suckers. Dang.
Told the men what was about to happen. And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed. He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is. What have they done with the flag?
What'd you do with it?
Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us.
Is it?
1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling. Every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb, and Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down.
Getting goosebumps.
The admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them?
What's the matter with us?
He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation?
Nothing's impossible.
Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees. The admiral said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer, God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. Sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle, but the flag was still at the top. Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he'd found had happened was that that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when hit had fallen, but men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground, although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly until they died. Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were patriots' bodies.
Bruh. Man, if this is propaganda, it's working. Because I am about to tear up. And bruh, if you're from America, and America's been, the thing is, people are entitled. I was about to say if America's been good to you, and then I started thinking, oh man, it hasn't been good to certain people, which is a lie. I mean, we've had some, dark things in the history. But when I think about, when I say America has been good to everyone here, this is the land of opportunity, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you're native, whether you're black, white, Latin, whatever, because of the economy and so many other things, you have access to mad stuff that a lot of people don't. So if America wasn't good to you, I mean, we all, there's certain, I'm just saying your outcomes are way better here. I've traveled so many different places too, man. I've been to China, Colombia, Mexico, frickin' Belize, Jamaica, Panama, holy smokes, Canada, Europe, America, right? There's opportunities in the first world like Canada and Europe, but there's still just more in America. Like real estate is different in America. Like it's just, there's so much access, and it's just unfortunate that a lot of people don't take advantage of that in America. And I see it all the time where I see people complain about America, but then I see migrants come over, work, they go through the system. Like, I'm not even talking about the ones that just cross the border. There's some that go through the system, get their green card, start a taco shop, start a freaking, laundry mat, start a food truck, become millionaires, start a construction company, become millionaires. It's insane. Anyways, I don't know, man. I love America. I feel like I'm a patriot. I believe in this country. I believe in the ideals behind this country. I also separate the people from the government, because from what you're seeing here, these people, like, where are the people who are going to stand up and like, some people enlist in the military to fight for our freedom, right? But the government has been corrupted, and they're sending our brothers, sisters, fathers, loved ones over to die in other places for nonsense. It's really unfortunate and sad. When I see this picture, I know a massive amount of people who are willing to stand up and fight foreign, in invaders, right? They're like, yeah, and it's just, oh man, the division and all this, it's complicated in America these days. But when I see this picture, right, you're like, people who really just wanted freedom, And then you have the slave trade, right? And then you have Chinese people here, Black Americans, Latinos, and they want freedom, right? This is the plight of my culture, right? My culture is American culture, but like my father's side of the family, right? Where I don't even know. I'm not even a front. Like, I done the 20. I don't know. Like, not every black person came here as a slave, you guys. That's the crazy misconception. A lot of people dive into this woe is me and then find out they weren't slaves, find out they have black ancestry that had slaves. I mean, I tripped out going down this rabbit hole, finding out that Native Americans had slaves. And they didn't want, when America ended slavery, the natives didn't want to give up their slaves. It's crazy. It's on YouTube. You can go find it. It's wild. What was his name? The dude in he's in Hotel Rwanda. What's his name? Man, I can't think of his name right. The actor, the lead role in Hotel Rwanda. He did this like 23andMe on the History Channel or something, and found out that his family was enslaved, but enslaved by Native Americans. They were never enslaved by. It's wild. History is just wild in general. Anyways, This just makes me feel good. I know this runs through my blood. Like, this is what happened to me. I got like this. See these MFers in this picture? That's me during 2020. Get your hands off me, mother sucker. You lying pieces of booyakasha. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know, man. This story is crazy. It gets me riled up, man. I started getting goosebumps. You know, a lot of people, they've made a way to disconnect us folks from different demographics. Let's just keep it real. Black, Mexican, you know, Asian. Like, you see this picture and we're supposed to be disconnected from it. Like, oh, America wasn't built for you to have freedom. America wasn't built for you to have opportunities. And that's a lie. It's a lie. Maybe it wasn't perfect. You know, we had to grow. It's just like a baby, man. These MFers didn't know what they were doing. They're just rocking with societal norms, you know? And you got to grow. From a baby, you learn to walk. You learn to crawl, or well, you learn to crawl, walk, run. You know, that's what happens. You learn, you grow. That's just the way it goes, man. Like, I ain't, you know, I don't know, man. I think being an athlete most of my life, there's something about winning and losing. And when you lose, you can't be mad at the winner, or you will never win. You'll just be a freaking loser. That's it. It's just how it goes. You lose, you got to watch the winner and give them respect and then learn how to win because of that loss. If you're just going to cry about it, that's just the way you're going to be a loser the rest of your life. I see it in very simple terms. Some people get mad, but that is life. If you go in nature, there's winners and losers. Think that gazelle wanted to be at the edge of that lion's mouth? Hell no. That was it. You know what I'm saying? He lost that day. He lost. It is what it is. And I'm anyways, man. Damn.
He penned the song, "Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming? Or the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet fly and wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The debt was demanded. The price, it was paid."
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free
Pride Month is here, baby. That's why I don't really rock. Like, I have nothing against any other folks, man. God bless everyone. I'm going to just keep it real, man. The whole Pride Month, I get frustrated because this is the real Pride Month. The only reason you could have that rainbow-ass flag is because of this American flag, which is the real flag of inclusion. That's what I believe. That's just the truth. Without this flag right here, there ain't none of those flags, man. I get frustrated being in America, seeing people fly other flags first. You crazy as hell, dog. I don't care if it's the rebel flag, the Mexico flag, the Ukrainian flag. Nothing should fly first in this country before the USA flag, because this has propped up so many of us, given us so many opportunities where you could have that freedom and freedom of speech and all these things. Even with the LGBT community, they've had most of their so much progressive success, and some of the stuff is nonsense, right? But some of it is like accepting people for being people. I'm with that. I'm just like, look, man, I ain't your judge. I ain't God. So I'm cool. American values, free. You have freedom of expression and do things, be yourself. But when they start pushing ideologies where we're literally in a conflict trying to discuss what's a man and a woman, that's problematic, But again, because of this flag, that's why you can have those conversations. As crazy as they are, as delusional as they might seem, this flag, and people died for this flag. Not just these brothers on the hill, but slaves, people who went into war for this country, World War I, II, Vietnam, Desert Storm. The list goes on and on and on, you guys. Look, I respect the flag, man, and that's not going to stop. And we're in a time where we're being bamboozled, right? And they're trying to turn and I would typically say, I don't like to do the left and right thing, but from everything I'm saying, the left is attacking the flag more so than anything, right? They say it represents Trumpism, and all these things that it's like, look, this is the American flag, man. This represents freedom. And I ain't going to act like we didn't have a rocky history and there's still shady things that happen. But, bro, if you're going to sit here and act like there's a better country and you're an American, and like I benefited from America, bro. Like I ain't going to sit here and dance around the fact that America has given me, my family, a better life and has given millions of people. And you know what's funny is when people start getting in the race conversation, America has propped up more black voices, more Latin, more Asian. Every race you could think of has propped them up more over the world, right? Like Jay-Z, Obama. Like it's funny how they're more recognizable than most of these countries, have leaders from, some of these other countries. It's just America's a phenomena. It's an experiment. It's a constitutional republic, and it's lit. Y'all can say whatever you want to say to badmouth me for believing in the ideas of freedom, justice, and equality for all, but that's what America stands for. It's a melting pot, and there is a strength in us coming together. And I think that's getting lost in today's verbiage, man. Because what happens is we're forgetting what it means to be American. And let's keep it a buck. We still speaking English. Come on, man. Britain, come on, man. We still speaking English. Like, I ain't that disconnected. Like, I know there's ties to all this stuff, but I'm definitely proud American, man. I hope you guys have a good 4th of July. I hope you represent that Independence Day. The last few years I see people that look like me burning the American flag, and it hurts my soul because I was similar when I was young. I didn't realize what I had. I wanted everything just given to me, handed to me. I felt like I deserved this. And sometimes I fed into the rhetoric of, oh, because I'm black or half black, I was a victim of slavery and I deserved certain things. I didn't want to work for it. And when I put on my big boy pants and went out and started working construction, which sucked, landscaping sucked, absolutely sucked. But that's what led me to music. I started attacking music like I did my working career. Here I am, have a career in throwing concerts, a YouTube career, a bunch of different things. But until I put on my big boy pants and stop saying, hey, I deserve this and that, and actually go work for it, and that's the danger of thinking that way. I didn't realize how dangerous it was when I was young. Oh, man, look at all these rich people, man. They must have just been given that. Oh, they were born into that. Some rich people are. But it don't matter I don't give up what other people are doing, man. I got to work. I got to make my claim. You know what I'm sizzling? I had a lot of growing up to do, man. And the school system is not better than it was then. So if I grew up and I was thinking that, then I can't imagine what these kids are thinking now with the stuff I see on the internet. So God bless America. God bless you. Happy 4th of July. No disrespect to you Brits that follow the channel, but you ain't my massa, man.